All right, Bob. One of the things I love being behind the scenes. There's like nothing like being in the green room to have these private, personal conversations. And as I was looking through your bio, I was like, whoa, this is like super impressive. We'd be here like all night if I had to like read the bio, which I'm sure they're going to do. But do me a favor, if you would, give me the backstory. Give me the narrative. Like, who is Bob Donnell?
Well, I tell you, it's like everybody else's story. It's a long time coming, right? We look at it in increments. But one of the coolest things I've been really blessed with is some great mentors and some great people in my life that have really poured into me over the course of the years. And it began when I was 15. My mom was diagnosed with cancer. She was going to be dying in 6 months, they said. And a gentleman, one of her friends, walked up to me one day and says, "Bob, what do you want to be when you grow up?" She asked, like, "I'm 15 years old. Why are you asking me?" And he goes, "Because you can learn a product, a service, or an industry, or you can learn one thing that drives any product, service, or industry." Mm-hmm. And me, in my naivety, says, "Tell me what it is." He goes, "Human behavior. If you understand human behavior, you'll be successful in anything you do." And I went, "Sign me up," jokingly. And he said, "Great, go be a peer counselor at school." So the next year I became a peer counselor, worked with crisis intervention, suicide prevention. At 19, founded my nonprofit organization. And from then on, it's just been a roller coaster ride, a lot of fun, a lot of ups and downs. But I tell you, that pivotal moment when somebody said, "What do you want to be when you grow up at 15?" Changed the trajectory of my life forever.
Man, I love that, man. That's just a fantastic story, especially at 15. Let me ask a question. What should the folks kind of expect on this conversation that we're going to have this morning or this evening or this afternoon or whatever time it is for them, wherever they are in the world? What should they expect from Bob during this particular conversation, my man?
I think what they should expect is real, honest communication. Look, I'm a big believer that I say all the time, I have so many faults that I'm perfectly flawed. And I think one of the things that, I want to make sure that everyone takes out of this is that, and nobody's got a magic pill. Nobody's got the answer. There are a lot of things that we're going to have to do, especially during these kind of times. And we're going to have to be a lot of different things to a lot of different people. Doesn't mean we have to change who we are, but real, honest, and meaningful conversation is going to be where it really takes everything to the next level.
I love that. And there's a gentleman by the name of Eric Swanson. And Eric Swanson is, for those folks that don't know him, is with Habitude Warrior. If you haven't had a chance, go check out habitudewarrior.com. And he's the person that connected us at a time that he didn't have to do that. And some folks, they don't like to share networks. They think there's this scarcity going on. Take a moment and talk about the importance of, one, being able to collaborate, which he did. Number two, what Eric Swanson is doing with Habitude Warrior. Shout out to you, Eric, man. Appreciate you, man. You're a rock star.
Absolutely, Eric. Definitely. Yeah, Habitude Warriors, I've been involved with them for a long time. I've spoken on many of their stages across the country. And what Eric's done has just been a phenomenal input into society, because he brings these 33 speakers or 25 speakers, wherever, how many, brings them together and lets them share their expertise and their skill sets and all of this and their stories. And he's been very gracious to have me on a lot of stages. And he's really changing the dynamics of how people are doing and going to seminars. I mean, that kid, I say he's a kid because I think he's younger than me, but he's really not. But that guy just really rocks it when it comes down to putting people in the seat and then bringing together amazing people to be on his stage, like Frank Shankowitz, the founder of Make-A-Wish Foundation, or Sharon Lechter, who wrote Rich Dad, Poor Dad. These are the caliber of people that he puts on his stage. Phenomenal people, and he does an amazing job. That whole idea of collaboration, you're absolutely right. I've talked with Eric about this before, and I share this a lot from the stages. I'm like, guys, if I've just spoken at a real estate office, the odds of me being brought back to speak at the real estate office in the next 12 months is not very high.
Right.
So why would I try and protect that contact? Why not let somebody else go in and speak at that real estate office or at that seminar the next time? And so that collaboration, being able to say, hey, look, I don't need to hoard my connections. I can share them freely, and other people will take advantage of them. And as long as you're sharing with the right people and you're sharing the right people.
You know, I love that. The whole share, the whole collaboration. Hello, Lawrence. Thanks for joining. Always good to see you, my good friend Cheryl. Thanks a lot from Las Vegas. Tanya's in the house. What's up, Tanya? Thanks for joining. She's all the way out on the West Coast, by the way, California. I know we are. Brenda and so many of you who are tuning in right now, you're in for a treat because this is one of those conversations that I believe Bob will change your life if you let him. The principles you're going to teach will change your life. Take a look at what he's been through. I know many of you have already read his page. We're going to get going. Bob, before we get going, I'm just curious. That's why it's so cool to be in the green room. I'm so happy for those early birds who like to eavesdrop on these type of conversations. What's your purpose now, man? I mean, you've done so much in your life. You've been through so much. What's your mission right now in life? What's your purpose in life right now?
Yeah. The key mission I have is to inspire strategic action. I think a lot of people get inspired or they get motivated and then they do nothing with it, or they just go in the wrong direction faster. My real mission is to inspire strategic action among people. And, a lot of them are entrepreneurs, but a lot of those are just moms and dads that just say, hey, I want a better life for myself and for my kids.
Yeah. I like that. A better life. We're going to talk about that when we come back. Look, we got to get going. And give me the cue. We got to get going. Tanya says, it always comes back when you give from the heart. Well, that's what I believe you're going to get from Bob tonight. He said, Shay, just let me be me. And that's what we're going to do. Let's find out if he answers the questions, though. We'll be back in just a moment. We got to get going in 5, 4. Bob is the only part I get to do, but I love doing it. 3, 2, 1. It's showtime. We'll be back, ladies and gentlemen. See you in just a second. I can't wait. Promise I made to my mom. I only did this message for one person, and that's my mom. This is for you, Mom. Love you. My name is Shay Brown, the happy entrepreneur. Make it a great day, everyone. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, Shay Brown.
Mic check, mic check.
All I do is win, no matter what. Got money on my mind, I can never get enough. And every time I step up in the building, everybody hands go up.
Yes. Yeah.
And they stay there. And they stay there, and they stay there. Cause all I do is win. Yeah.
Thank you. God bless. Well, it's a great day. My name is Shay Brown, the happy entrepreneur, and welcome back to the Happy Entrepreneur Show, the #1 business development and revenue focused late night show in the country where we're on a mission. And our mission is to empower. Our mission is to inspire. And our mission is to provide you, the entrepreneur, with all of the resources that are necessary to execute, I believe, 3 visions that you have. I believe there's 3 visions you have. I believe first, you have a vision for yourself, the way you want to live, the clothes you want to wear, the car you want to drive. And that's important to you. But it takes resources to support that vision. That means revenue. Others of you have a vision for the ones you love the most. I'm blessed that Mother Dear is still here, and I'm able to go to her home and drop the groceries off at her door right now. Can't go in anymore, by the way. Or I got to order them, get them there, or take her to physical therapy, or just be able to write a check or give her the credit card to do what she wants to do. And that's just a blessing. Now, I know that's not for everybody, but some of you have kids you want to send to a college of your choice. Some of you want to write a check to support the causes you most believe in. It takes resources, which means it takes what? Revenue. And then for others of you out there, you have a vision for the people you were called to serve. Mm-hmm. And imagine whether you're a believer or not. I happen to be a believer. You don't have to be a believer, but in the Bible, there's this guy named Noah. And imagine Noah gets this vision from God. Like, you have a vision and you got the experience, you got the expertise. You're like ready, but there's no hammer. Doggone it, there's no resources. Oh, there's no nails. Golly, I can't get going. There's no wood. There's no team. It never gets built. And maybe that's where you are. And you just need resources, and you can execute that vision you have for the people we were called to serve. And that's why Bob showed up this evening. He showed up to give you the resources that are necessary so you can execute those visions. So let me go ahead and welcome Bob to the stage. What's going on, Bob? How are you, my man?
I appreciate the opportunity. Glad to be here.
Well, it's an honor and a privilege, man, a treat and a treasure. You know, Bob, when we saw mindset inner game. We saw everything next level, which is your brand. It's a great brand. Everything next level. Take a moment in all seriousness and talk about why that's important. We've been hearing it our whole life. Why is it important? And why is it important now in these times that we're going through more than ever?
Right. Wow. One of the pillars of next level is every next level demands a different you. And I think a lot of times what we do is we get stagnant. We fall into a pattern, a routine of just patterns. And a lot of those patterns serve us well and some of them don't. But when I look at next level, I think about, everyone says, Bob, what is the next level? Is it money? I go, no, whatever it is for you. I have a lot of clients that their next level is liquidating and being a philanthropist or leaving a legacy. I have some clients that are just looking to start their first business. Some of them are running multiple businesses and doing very well. So what's the next level? Well, the next level depends on the individual, and it depends on the individual's lifestyle and where they're at. And what I like to say is, who you are is more important than what you do, because who you are will determine the quality of everything you do. So really what you do, what you're gaining, the car that you drive, the house that you live in, all of that can go away like that. And I've seen it happen in my own life, and I've seen it happen in countless others. And so the true meaning of next level is you have to define that for yourself. What's the next level for you? And for some, it might be just like you said, just putting their kids through college, or just getting that next thing. But you know what? A lot of them is liquidating, shrinking, getting smaller, and just saying, how do I leave a legacy for me beyond my lifestyle? And for those people, it has really nothing to do with money. It has everything to do with who they are.
Yeah, that's so powerful. Let me ask a question if I can. I asked this question earlier, and for someone like yourself who gets into behavioral science and mindset and inner game, what are you saying? I'll give you an example. I was talking to a young lady earlier today or this week, and she's now working from home. So she said, Shay, I'm a full-time work-at-home person. I'm also a full-time mom. By the way, I'm a full-time wife. I'm a full-time mother. I'm now a full-time teacher. I'm a full-time cafeteria person because I got to cook all these freaking meals. And I'm a full-time administrator. And that's just the start. That doesn't talk about what I'm doing outside the home. So what are you sharing with people? And that mom may not be alone. It could be a single mom. Okay.
Yeah.
It could be a single dad. I'm not, I don't want to say it's just one person. But what are you saying to someone that's found themselves in that situation? What are you sharing with them right now? I'm just curious. What are you telling folks like that?
I have a lot of clients of mine that are like that right now. One of the things I tell them first is that consider who they are first. And I let them help them define that. For me, I'm a believer as well, so I'm a child of God first and foremost. And then the second thing is, I'm a father to 3 great kids. I have to help them understand, consider who they are first, and then consider everything that they've overcome in their life, everything that they've ever overcome. And I want to say, and they're here. So they beat those things. So if they beat those things, there's a good chance that they're going to be able to beat whatever they've got going right now. And so really help them understand, one, who they are, because that's going to determine the quality of everything they do. And then secondly, what they've already overcome, so that they can look back and see a track record of success.
Yeah, no, I love that. That's so well. Someone do me a favor. Look right below the video and write those words, everything next level, #Bob Donnell. Just put everything next level, #Bob Donnell. And you even have my permission. I'm sure you have Bob's permission as well. Hit the share button. Hit the watch party button. Now, why would you do that? Why would you bless someone else? Why would you pay this message forward? Because we believe in the giver's economy. The giver's economy says the person that outgives the competition out-earns the competition. So we're going to pay a message forward of hope, pay a message forward. Because I'm going to ask Bob right now, I'm going to ask him in a second. You hit the share button, but I'm going to ask him, Bob, what are you telling entrepreneurs out there and executives they've got to furlough people? I talked to a good buddy of mine. They got to make a call to the mortgage company. Another friend of mine had to get rid of or let someone go for a while because 30 days he doesn't have money in the bank to pay someone that supported him for 6 years and depend on him 100%. People are making those calls, and I'm going to ask them to do that. But before I do that, you hit the share button. You hit the watch button, and you say everything next level, #Bob dial. And I'm gonna ask them, Bob, here's the question. How do someone still tell themselves everything next level and yet they're making that phone call, man? And it's tough, dude. It really is, seriously.
Man, definitely.
So what are you telling those type of folks right now?
Right now what I'm telling them is destinies are built on tough decisions and tough conversations. Be willing to have the difficult conversation. Be willing to make the tough decision. And that's where your destiny is really going to be made. So what I'm telling you is, first, get understanding that that's where your destiny is going to be built from. And the second thing is to really help them understand that what they're going to be doing is laying a foundation that can carry them into the future. And a lot of times what we don't understand is, we're going to talk about inner game, but what we don't understand is the foundation that has been laid for us while we were growing up was good enough to get us out of high school, get us into college, maybe get us into a relationship, maybe help us get married. But also we started getting married, we started having kids, we started having a career instead of a job, we started having debt, we started having all these things. And our foundation was not built for that. So we have to go back and say, I need to build a foundation that's strong enough for the life that I'm trying to live. So your inner game must be strong enough to support the actions required for the results desired. You want to make more sales, you're going to have to make more sales calls. If you don't have an inner game to make more sales calls, doesn't matter. You know what to do, you're just not going to do it. So when we think about this, what I'm telling entrepreneurs is, look, get used to having the difficult conversation, be willing to step. And then the third thing I want to really stress to an entrepreneur is, sometimes you're going to have to be the gap filler. And that gap filler is going to be that person that steps in and works later than everybody else. Sometimes it's going to be that person who takes a person under their wing, like I've had so many people do with me over the course of my life. And you're just going to have to be that gap filler. So right now, get used to being uncomfortable, because you're probably going to need to be uncomfortable more often in order to get the success that you really want. And when I say success, I'm not talking about money. But you look at, you go to the gym and you work out. Well, if you just lift 5-pound weights, you're never going to get stronger. Right now is the time we're going to build the muscle so that we have the life that we really want after this whole thing is over. And I'm going to share this. We're going to have the life that we want in the process of building that muscle, because that's when we start to see the fruits of our labor. And I think there's going to be a lot of people that are going to surprise themselves during this time. And I think there's going to be some people that surprise the people around them during this time, because they rise up, they step up, they really become the men, women that they were designed to be to begin with. And they just didn't have to be, but now they're going to have to be. And you're going to see some great people really rise up out of the ashes.
I love that. You mentioned inner game, and I need to get a point of clarification if I can. How is the inner game, which to me is mindset, different than the mindset, which I thought was mindset? So my question, let me be clear. How is the inner game, inner, I-N-N-E-R, game, G-A-M-E, so I'm clear. How is that different than mindset?
Yeah. Mindset is really just the way you think, right? It's that belief system that you have. Inner game, what I've developed over the course of the last 20 years, has really become to understand that mindset is the way you think. But how did you get there? Well, your personal constitution, your belief systems, your values. Inner game is everything that makes you up who you are today, Shay. So the Shay that is today is made up of all these different experiences, these personal belief systems, these values, these constitutional, these good and bad, negative experiences, positive experiences. All of that is what creates your inner game, and your mindset is a percentage of that inner game.
So what does the inner game do for someone?
The inner game will determine whether you will or whether you won't. Mindset won't. Mindset you might go, hey, I know I can do it. I believe I can do it. My mind says I believe I can do it. Okay, great. Why aren't you doing it? Because your inner game must be strong enough to support those actions in order to get the result desired. What we have is we have a lot of people that are walking around with great mindset going, yeah, I know I can. Man, I know that the world is my oyster. But why aren't they doing it? The foundational thing is that inner game is the foundation. And if we don't build that foundation to support the actions required, we won't take the actions, even though we know what to do. I mean, Shay, look, you and I both know. Yeah. Today, we could have done things that we knew we should have, but we didn't.
Amen.
Why is that? Well, because our inner game wasn't strong enough in that area. Our inner game was strong enough to get on this podcast, or our inner game was strong enough to do our business during the day. But there were things that we could have done that we didn't, and we know we should have done and we didn't, and that's because our inner game was weak in that area. So we have to go back and fortify our inner game in that area so that we can get the results that we want, because without it, the foundation doesn't exist and the house falls apart.
Well, let's slow down for a moment and then we'll speed up. And the slowing down part is, how does the inner game even get weakened? Because if I built all these muscles up, I think that's a reasonable question at a reasonable time. How does that inner game, which really helps me get things done, how does that game get weakened?
Yeah, it gets weakened by the same way it got built, unfortunately. It gets weakened by the experiences, the input from others. You know, you're hanging around with the wrong crowd, and they're telling you how you can't do it, you can't do it, you can't do it, and all of a sudden your inner game starts to weaken. You know, it's always funny when I've talked to super successful people. I mean, like, if you went to Bill Gates and said, "I'm going to be a billionaire someday," he'd be like, "All right, what's your game plan? How are you going to do this?" But if you go to somebody who's never done it and you go, "I'm going to be a billionaire," they go, "Yeah, right." Why? Because they don't have an experience. They don't have any way of looking at that or saying it's imaginable for you, much less for them. And so, you know, when we start surrounding ourselves with people, we talk about Jim Rohn saying, you know, you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most amount of your time with. Okay, so maybe you're hanging around with the wrong people. How else does it get weakened? You start watching crud. You start just watching cruddy things. You know, you're watching television that has no meaning to you. You're just vegging. And the third thing is, you're just not taking care of yourself. And so by the time that everything gets said and done and you're like, okay, I need to, you've lied to yourself so many times. I mean, if I were to tell you, Shay, hey, Shay, tomorrow I want you to meet me at the Starbucks down the street. I'm going to buy coffee and we're going to have a great time. And at 9 o'clock, and you show up at 9 o'clock, but I'm not there. And you call me and go, "Bob, where are you?" I'm, "Oh man, I forgot. Shay, I'm so sorry. Man, please forgive me. Please forgive me. Tomorrow, I'll buy you breakfast and everything if you just show up tomorrow at 9 o'clock. And you go, "Well, track record's not good, but okay, I'll show up at 9 o'clock. You show up at 9 o'clock again, and I'm still not there. You might not even call me, but if you did, it'd probably be calling me some names, right?
Yeah.
But here's the thing is, you'll never show up again. And here's what happens to our inner game, our psychology, our inner game. We tell our inner game, tomorrow, I'm going to the gym. And the inner game wakes up at 6 o'clock in the morning and says, let's go. And you go, "Oh man, I am so tired. I was out late last night. Oh, it's cold outside. I think I've got the sniffles." And we start making all these excuses about why we're not going to go to the gym. And then our inner game goes, "Man, I've seen this before." And then the next day, "Oh, tomorrow I'm going to go to the gym," but we do the same thing tomorrow. And by the second or third day, the inner game's like, "Yeah, we don't even need to talk about going to the gym anymore because we ain't going to do it." And our inner game literally starts to erode by the very behavior that we help it create.
Wow. So you broke down how the inner game is weakened. If one thing is true, the opposite might be true as well. Then how is the inner game strengthened? How do we build that muscle?
Yeah. You know, one of the best ways to build that muscle is to take action. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, we're taught, be careful, you know, don't worry, you know, think about things, really be, you know. And I think one of the biggest things that helps us build a muscle is by taking action. For example, if I want to break the pattern of not going to the gym, the best thing I can do is at 5 o'clock in the morning when I wake up, I look and I go, I don't sit there and go, "I'm supposed to go to the gym right now." I get up and just go to the gym, because that action of getting out of bed has already perpetuated me in going in the right direction. I sit there in bed and I go, I'm so tired. And now all of a sudden I'm starting to have that conversation. So the first thing is to shorten the distance. There's a term called LODI, L-O-D-I, the law of diminishing intent. And that says that the distance between a time of decision and a time of action will determine the likelihood it'll ever occur. So you get out of high school and you go, "I'm going to go to college in 5 years. Likelihood of going to college? Not very. I'm going to go to college next year. I'm enrolling in college right now and I'm paying my tuition. There's a good chance you're going to college, right?" Mm-hmm. So that law of diminishing intent, distance between time of decision and time of action, determines the likelihood it'll ever occur. When we want to make something happen in our life, we have to use that in our favor. What I mean is, we have to say, "I'm going to the gym now. I'm going to start my business now. I'm going to pay my dues now." Whatever it is, we start taking immediate action. We start seeing the results, and all of a sudden the results, the positive results, fuel that drive and that ambition. And that's where we start to build that muscle. So one, we have to understand law of diminishing intent works for us or against us. We have to start taking immediate and decisive action. And the third thing I would say is we have to rally support system. And that support system might be just one person, or it might be, a group of people, but put people in your life that will support you. I tell people, I really surround myself with people who know all of my faults and love me as if they knew none. And when you have people like that in your life, that they've seen you fall down, they've seen you bruise your knee, they've seen you, flake, they've seen you do all this stuff, and at the same time, they love you as if they had never seen a negative thing from you. Well, the odds of you being able to succeed in something or anything when you have those people in your life is far greater than if you were to go at it alone.
Yeah, I love it. We're talking to the one and only Bob Donnell. We're talking about mindset, but he's breaking up the difference between inner game and mindset, which is doing a great job. We're going to take a break, and we're going to go over to Connect Thigpen in just a second. When we come back, I'm going to ask him, how does someone get a fresh start? I'm going to ask him about today is my January 1st. I'm going to ask him about who does he work with and how does he help change their lives. We'll be back in just a moment with the one and only Bob Donnell. Go and hit the share button. Hit the watch party button. And when you do that, write those words, everything next level, hashtag Bob Donnell. Don't worry about that. I'm going to ask him, how's everything next level? Don't worry. I got that in my back pocket. I got sidetracked, but don't worry. We'll come back in just a second. Dr. Connect Thigpen down in Raleigh, North Carolina. Embrace change. We'll see you in less than 2 minutes. We'll be right back.
Hello, it's your girl, Dr. Connect Thigpen, also known as Dr. K, founder of Rise Women's Network. And Rise Women's Network is pleased to present to you, hashtag Next Sister Up. I'm with you in the Happy Entrepreneurs Tribe, and today is my January 1st. Here's your thought of the week. Embrace change. When I look up the definition of change, it means to make or become different. So no wonder people get so bent up out of shape when it comes to change, because if it means to become different, we've been taught from a very young age that different is bad. But what if we change our perspective of what change really is? You see, I remember when I was in a motorcycle accident and I wasn't able to walk. I wasn't able to brush my teeth or comb my hair. Talk about change. And for you, maybe there's been life events where you've experienced change. I mean, just look around. COVID-19 has caused change for many of us. But I think we should view change as something positive. It's about embracing, it's releasing, it's accepting, it's evolving. It's about growing, learning, and becoming. So I wanted to share with you 3 tips in order to embrace change. The first one is you have to be aware and acknowledge it. Stop being in denial and acknowledge the change that is there. Stop sweeping it under the rug and acknowledge it. The second thing is we need to realize what we can and cannot control. And if you make a list of the things that you can and cannot control and compare that to the values that you hold for yourself, for your family, or for those that you serve, I guarantee you the things that are outside of your control are not in alignment with your values. And then the third thing that's important to do is to keep a list of all the changes that have occurred in your life. One, because it will show you that you have survived every change that has occurred. And number 2, it will help for you to look back and see the solutions that you had and the resources that you had to get through the change in the past that will help you in the present. And so I challenge you this week, embrace change, embrace change. It's your girl, Dr. K. Make it a great day.
Well, it's a great day. My name is Shay Brown, the Happy Entrepreneur, and welcome back to the Happy Entrepreneur Show, the #1 business development and revenue focused late night show in the country, where we're on a mission. And that mission is to empower, the mission is to inspire, and the mission is to provide you, the entrepreneur, with all the resources necessary to execute the vision you have for the people you were called to serve. And we're talking to Bob Donnell this evening. We're talking about mindset. We're talking about inner game. We're talking about being able to take that next step. You know, Bob, I do have a question for you. As we're talking about mindset, one of our beliefs here, our core values at the Happy Entrepreneur Show is today is my January 1st. And today is my January 1st. And for those folks that are out there and you know what we're about to do, you can look right below the video right now. You can look right below the video. If you listen to the podcast, you can do this as well. And you can go ahead and write down, today is my January 1st. Today is my January 1st. Now, for those that are hearing it for the first time, and Bob, I'll frame the conversation for you. Today is my January 1st represents the thousands of decisions you make throughout the day. And any one of those decisions could forever shift the trajectory of your life, right? So you make a decision to work out while you're home right now, or you go sit on the couch. You make a decision to eat hamburgers and French fries, or you go to the refrigerator, you open up and there's some broccoli, there's some kale, there's some Brussels sprouts, there's some celery. That sounds good to somebody because they know that today is my January 1st is a do-over. It's a rebirth. It's your past doesn't equal your future. Bob, when you hear those words, today is my January 1st, what does it mean to you? What are you hearing?
Wow, when you share that, I immediately thought about something that I talk about all the time, and that is, what's the difference between December 31st and January 1st? 1 second. That's really it. 1 second defines 31st to the 1st. And yet what's going to be different is going to be dependent on what actions we're willing to take on the 1st. And so, I look at people all the time and I think, where are they today versus where did they imagine they were going to be on January 1st? And on January 1st, they probably imagined that they were going to be completely different than they are today. And so I immediately look and go, what was it? When did my limitations start to overpower my determination? And I think, we all have these grandiose ideas on January 1st. And for some reason, some of them stick and some of them don't. So I always look at that inner game. But, you think about what would be different if every day was a January 1st, and it is. And it is. Every day is a January 1st. We get to start this thing all over again. And yet we started with more wisdom and more experience tomorrow than we had today.
A great way of looking at it. Quick question for you. What was your January the 1st moment? That moment where you planted your flag, Bob. You drew a line in the sand. And you might have had many throughout your career, and you decided, I'm going to make this work. I'm going to be an entrepreneur. This is meant for me. This is my calling. Tell us a little bit about that, if you don't mind.
Yeah, I can tell you one for sure. July 19th, 1979, I was 15 years old. I was at a summer youth camp, church youth camp, and I remember thinking, wow, I feel a calling on my life. I don't know what that means. I don't know if it's to be a pastor or what, but I know that I have a calling on my life to impart vision and help people. And I don't know what that looks like, counseling or whatever it was. But I know July 19, 1979 is when I surrendered to that calling and said, from this point on, my focus is to really help people get a bigger vision for their lives and to take strategic actions in order to fulfill that vision. So that was a pivotal one for me right then. I think another one has been over the course of time, seeing what works and doesn't work. I think we have those January 1st right now, maybe even every day.
Yeah.
But where you sit back and you think, wow, that didn't work. That didn't go so well. Or this isn't working anymore. What can I do now? And I think at that moment, we have to make the decision. We're either moving forward or we're staying put. And I think when we decide right then that we're moving forward, that we're going to become the next best version of ourselves, regardless of what society says, regardless of what our bank book says, regardless of what car we're driving, house we're living in, the bottom line, when we decide then, and that's what's happened for me over and over again, is I've had to redefine and reinvent my business and reinvent myself. And right now I'm reinventing some different things. So, look, we're all in this thing together, as a good pastor of mine used to say. We're all in this thing called life together. And I think the focus on this January 1st is to realize that today is a January 1st, and I've had multiple and several in the last 30 days.
Yeah. You talked about December 31st. And I guess the question I'm going to have in a moment is, how do you help people be consistent, right? Because you think back on December 31st, you're right. They were excited. After a couple of drinks on the back of a napkin, they wrote down their goals. This was going to be their year. This is going to be the year I get my finances together. It's going to be the year I get to the gym. It's going to be the year I get my business off the ground. I don't know if you know this, Bob, but January the 17th is National Ditch Your Resolution Day. Like, you can go Google that. National Ditch Your Resolution Day is January the 17th. In fact, if you ask someone today what their resolution was, they'll be like, that was so long ago. And so my question to you is, you talk about inner game and the difference between inner game and mindset. Mindset being what I believe, inner game being what I really do, right? And
Right.
the willpower to get me to do what I want to do.
Yeah.
My question is, what are you telling your clients on what they need to do to be consistent, especially now? Again, these are very challenging times. We're in uncharted water. There is no map on how to navigate through here. How does someone be consistent, man?
Yeah. Yeah, I think, if you look at my book, Mastering Your Inner Game, and you look at the audio series, video series, there's 7 pillars for mastering your inner game. I can't go all through it, but I can give you a couple of them. One is you have to set yourself up to win. So one of the things I do to set myself up to win is, you got to do anything that helps you make yourself feel better about yourself. Not about society, not about life, not about the economy, but about yourself. What can you do? So I'll tell you a great story. I was sitting in a restaurant one time, and there was this young girl. She comes in from the parking lot as a waitress. But I noticed there's this piece of paper sitting on the floor inside the foyer of the restaurant. And she literally looks at the paper and walks around it. And I go, wow, what would have made her pick that up? I'm a human behaviorist. I think about human behavior. But what would have made her pick that up? I thought, well, if it was a dollar bill, she probably would have picked it up. If it was 10 cents, she probably would have picked it up. Heck, a penny. I pick up pennies all the time. So I was like, if there had currency, she would have picked it up. I'm like, how do we make that currency? So I thought about, if she picked up that piece of paper, put it in the trash, would she feel a little bit better about herself? And I believe she would. I believe that anytime I've ever picked up a piece of paper, opened the door for someone and everything else, I've always felt a little bit better about myself. Maybe not monumental, but just a little bit. Well, that's all it took, because if she went in and she waited on the first table, but she just had a little more spring in her step because she felt a little bit better about herself. She held her smile and her eye attention, or eye focus a little bit longer. What are the odds that she might get a 1% increase in her tip, right? Well, pretty good if she was better. And she performs better because she feels better. So then you go to the next table, and she does this over 25 tables over the course of a shift. What kind of percentage of increase has she given herself? All because she picked up a piece of trash. So sometimes we have to look at the trash or the things that we do just to set ourselves up to win. Open the door for people. Play the music that inspires you. I have playlists in YouTube as well as on my iPhone. Playlists, and these playlists are meant to do nothing but to shape and change the way I feel at a given moment. So I might have a playlist of maybe the Rocky theme, right? Or maybe Chariots of Fire. Or I might have videos, and some of the videos that I have that inspire me are, Ronald Reagan saying, "Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall." Or John F. Kennedy, doing his inaugural speech. Or, all these different things. I play those videos. And here's the thing is, if you want to change your state, you don't just play the video. You play the video until your state changes. Let me say that again. You don't just play the video. You don't just play the music. You don't just open one door. You do what's necessary in order until your state changes. And then you move powerfully into the direction that you were set to go. Because then you can start the job waiting table. Then you can start the job as the mechanic. Then you can start the job as a coach or as an op. You can sit down to write that book. But you do it from an empowered state. And I think that's one of the most key things that I can say is setting yourself up to win. It might be videos, it might be audios, it might be memes or quotes that really inspire you. But you focus on those things and you do the things that are necessary. And like I said, just before I'll walk on stage anywhere, I go and I open the door for as many people as I possibly can. I pick up as many pieces of trash as I possibly can. Why? Because I want to walk on that stage empowered, not disempowered. I want to walk on that stage with fire in my belly rather than just going, okay, well, I made it to another show.
Powerful. Why does Bob still do this, man? Why do you still show up like you are right now? You could be doing a whole lot of things with your time. You didn't ask for a Cash App payment. You didn't ask for a Zelly. You didn't ask for a PayPal. Why do you still do this, man?
I do it for the same reason why you're doing this. I know you're not getting paid for doing this. We do it because, 1, we love people. 2, because I believe in people. And 3, I believe that I am called to do something about the human condition. And maybe that's just to be a gap filler for them. Maybe that's just to stand in the gap between where they are and where they want to be, and be that gap filler that says, "Come on, I got you. Let's just go. Grab my hand. Let's just go." And maybe that's it. But I guarantee it's because of the calling that's been placed on my life that I'm going to do it no matter what. And I'm going to do it in good times and bad. I'm going to do it whether I'm successful or struggling. I'm going to do it when I've got a lot of money in my bank account and when I don't have money in my bank account, because it's a calling. And I think that's a big difference than somebody who just graduates from college and says, okay, here's what I need to do because blank. Mom and dad told me, or my college degree is such, or whatever. When you have a calling does not change course based on your bank account or based on popular opinion.
You know, I said I was going to ask this question. I am before we go to break. Everything next level. That's kind of your brand. That's the name of your company. That's kind of your mantra. Take a minute or two if you can. And I know we could do a whole show on that by itself, but I want you to kind of unpackage that everything next level. I mean, why did you decide to go with those three, seems very simple, but yet powerful words?
Well, you know, it's interesting because it started off as two. It started off as next level. And then I went, you know, what's next level? And then I started thinking, everything needs to be next level. Everything, because if I truly believe that every next level demands a different me, then I need to be changing all the time based on what's going on in my life and who I want to become, how I want to impact people, the version of myself that needs to be showing up rather than the version of myself that just shows up sometimes. And so I started thinking everything next level. What's everything? My attitude, my belief, my belief system, my faith, my relationships with people, my love, my compassion, my empathy. See what I'm saying? I mean, everything next level, not just what we have next level, not just what we do next level, but everything. How we think about things, how we think about others, you know, how we engage with one another on the street. Are we doing it in a next level? And next level just means different than it was yesterday.
Man, I'm loving that. Do me a favor, everyone that's out there right now, look right below the video, and just write those words, everything next level, hashtag Bob Donnell. You can go ahead and make that commitment right now. Just say, today is my January 1st. You know, it is a belief. It is a mindset. You got to take action. But what level do you take action at? Well, everything next level. That's like the add-on. Today is my January 1st because Bob Donnell said everything next level. See, you've got to then take it to the what? Next level. Go ahead and right now, if that's you out there and you know that this is your year, this is your month, today is your January 1st, just look right below the video now. And when you see someone else write down everything next level, go ahead and hit the share button or hit the heart button, hit the like button, encourage them. And those folks that are watching on Apple TV or Amazon Fire, hey, look, you can go over to the tribe, Happy Entrepreneurs Tribe, and write down everything next level, hashtag Bob Donnell. We'll be back in just a moment. We're going to go over to Kim Warren Martin, and we come back. I'm going to ask him, how can we connect with him? Don't worry about that. And then I'm going to ask him if he'll give his final thoughts. But I'm going to ask him to go rapid fire with us. And rapid fire is when I get to ask a question and he answers it in a minute or less, by the way. And don't worry, I'm going to ask him, what's the one lesson that he learned from one of his many, many mentors that he's going to share with us? I want to know what that is. Don't worry. We'll be back in less than 10 minutes. We're going over to Kim Warren Martin. She's down in Little Rock, Arkansas, by the way. And she talks about make progress, not excuses. I think that's so appropriate for where we are this evening. Dr. Kim Warren Martin, take it away. We'll be back.
Hello there, happy entrepreneurs. Today is your January 1st, and you guys are all awesome in my book. This is Dr. Kim Warren Martin, founder of Successful and Fulfilled, bringing you my thought of the week here on the Happy Entrepreneur Show. This week's thought is make progress, not excuses. Tony Robbins once said, there are only two options, make progress or make excuses. Now, we've all made excuses at some point in our lives or in our business. But if you happen to be someone who's moved past making excuses and certainly letting them hold you back, kudos to you, thumbs up. But if you're struggling and lacking motivation, here are 3 things you can do to motivate or inspire yourself to take action. Number 1, think about a successful person you look up to and ask yourself, what would that person do? For example, what would Oprah do? Or what would Mark Cuban do? One thing you know is they wouldn't make excuses because excuses don't make progress, and no progress means no money. Number 2 is focus on why you got started in business in the first place. Examine how close you are to your original intent. This is more about the what, not the how.
What you want to accomplish in your business should be clear, even more clear now than then. The how may vary over time as technology changes or tools change, but always keep sight of your vision and your mission. And finally, you can go to the nearest mirror, look yourself straight in the eye, and point at yourself and say, man, you got this. Girl, you got this. The Bible said David encouraged himself in the Lord. And sometimes we just need to see that we believe that we can do it on the inside without outside approval. So do it for yourself and the people you're called to serve. Plus, know that I believe in you and I know you got this. This is Dr. Kim Warren Martin, founder of Successful and Fulfilled, with the thought, make progress, not excuses. Until next time, make it a wonderful day. Back over to you, Shay.
Well, it's a great day. My name is Shay Brown, the Happy Entrepreneur, and welcome back to the Happy Entrepreneur Show, the #1 business development and revenue focused late night show in the country, where we're on a mission, and that is to empower, it is to inspire, and it's to provide you, the entrepreneur, with all the resources that are really necessary to execute that huge vision that's so much bigger than you. You can't do it by yourself. And isn't that the vision you want? Something that is not for you, but it's for someone else, but you're going to do it as a team. You know that success is a team sport. You can only get so far by yourself. So get on the team. With that being said, we're here with Bob Donnell. And Bob Donnell is those folks that are out there right now, like Beverly Williams has put everything next level. She's putting that. Michael Sharp put everything next level. By the way, they're watching, they're listening, they're tuned in. Rapid fire for those folks that are tuning in for the very first time is where we get to ask any question that's on our head, on our mind. He can say yes, he can decline. He has that pass, and he answers in a minute or less. So let's just see what's on his mind. The first question on my mind was, before the break, I asked, what's one lesson that you learned from one of your many mentors along your journey of life that you would like to share with us that can help us on our journey of life?
Yeah. One of my friends and mentors is Keith Ferrazzi, who wrote Never Eat Alone and Who's Got Your Back. And I think one of the lessons that I've learned from him is how to be a gracious and great host. He does a lot of private parties at his house, and it's an amazing house, but he just opens it up to everyone and just how to just be a gracious and great host to people. And it's not just at their house, but maybe a gracious host at a dinner table, at a lunch table, or maybe just in a situation like this. Like you're being a gracious host right now. You invited me to come on and talk to your tribe. I mean, how to be that. Keith Ferrazzi definitely influenced me on that for sure.
Sure. You've read so many books. You've watched so many movies. Of all the movies and books you read, which one, they've all had so many impacts on you, but which one that comes to mind has had an impact on you that you would like to share with us, and why? And, you know, it doesn't have to be the only book you read, but or a movie. Maybe it's a book or a movie.
You know, if I'm looking at a movie, I think right now one of the movies that really stands out is the movie Up in the Air with George Clooney, because he's set on this mission to go out and basically terminate all these people from all these different companies. He's kind of a hired hatchet guy. And he's got a great scene in there, I think, with J.K. Simmons, I believe is the I think anyways. But he has this great scene where the guy says, you know, what do you mean you're firing me after all this? And he's angry. And George Clooney says something to this effect. He says, how much did they have to pay you for you to give up on your dreams? And he goes, what? He goes, well, when they hired you, they paid you an X amount of dollars, and yet that was just enough to keep you from fulfilling any of your other dreams, starting a business, doing all these things. This is your second chance, man. This is your second chance. I think right now, that's a movie that really impacts me based on what I'm seeing with so many people, entrepreneurs as well as employees alike, that really need to realize that maybe this is their second chance, and maybe they've just made enough, just enough to give up on their dreams.
Wow. How does Bob expand his comfort zone? When you find yourself in a place of being uncomfortable, how do you push yourself past that in order to stay there so you can build that muscle?
Yeah. You know, I think that's a great question. I think one of the things I've always done has been comfortable at being uncomfortable, if that makes sense. And I don't always do it perfectly, but I really work at doing it more effectively each time. And what that means is, if I'm uncomfortable and I don't feel like doing something, then I do it. just to say I did it anyways. You know, Tom Bilyeu, who founded Quest Nutrition, he has a great story where he says, you know, when he's going through a diet, you know, everyone says, oh, we'll keep our great smelling food away from you, and I'll keep this away from you. I don't want you to smell it, and you'll be mad. And he goes, no, bring it. He goes, man, when I'm on a diet or when I'm fasting, I want you to bring it. I want you to put it right in me. I want to smell it because I want to look at it and go, you don't own me. I own you.
Yeah, powerful. I love that. I love that. That's great. How does Bob stay focused? And the reason I ask that question is during these times as entrepreneurs that are home right now and are working from home and dealing with so many other factors, and they're not stuck at home. They're safe at home. Let's be clear. They're not stuck at home. They're safe at home. And, you know, sometimes the TV comes on and you go look at, see what's going on in the news and you try to get back to work. And then you try to go on the internet just real quick, obviously, see what's going on. And then you come back and then you check YouTube and then you get a phone call over here about what's going on. And it's not, there's just a lot of distractions. Let me just say it like that. So how does Bob share with his clients? How do they stay focused in times like these?
You know, again, I'm going to go back to one of my mentors and somebody who taught me is a woman named Linda Van Kessler, and a very dear friend. And Linda, at 19, decided she wanted to work for the White House. So she went to get a job at the White House. But not only did she get a job for the White House, she actually got to work for then President Ford. She wasn't just working at the White House; she was working for the president. Coolest thing about that was when she left, I said, well, where did you go from there? Anything's a step down. And she goes, no, I went to work for Dr. Billy Graham. Anything from there is a step down because presidents seek Graham's advice, not Graham seeking the president's advice. Right. Notable distinction right there. Then after that, she went to work for Robert Schuller. So three very influential people in our society in our lifetimes. And so one day I called her up and I go, man, how do these people keep the negative, keep the all the stuff, all the bad press, all the stuff? How do they keep that from affecting their day-to-day operations? She goes, I said, I want to hear about each one. So I'm taking out a pen and paper. I'm thinking I'm going to get nuggets from each one. She goes, well, they all did it the same way. And I'm like, well, this should be easy then. Okay, so how did they do it? She goes, here's how they did it, Bob. She goes, they were all three very, very clear, crystal clear on their mission. And if it didn't propel the mission forward, it didn't exist. It was just noise. So if bad press came in, all they had to ask was, this going to move my mission forward or not? If it doesn't, then I don't have time for it. And I think when we get to that point in our lives where we start to go, does this phone call, is this going to move my mission forward? Or is it just something that's going to occupy some time? And if it's not moving my mission forward, then I can't do it. And I think when we get really clear, but we have to be clear on what the mission is first. What was Gerald Ford's? His mission was to heal a nation after Watergate. What was Billy Graham's? To save souls. What was Robert Schuller's? To spread positivity around the world. Well, they were so crystal clear on that mission that anything that didn't move it forward, they didn't have time for it. It just didn't exist. And I think that's where we have to become as entrepreneurs, right now more than ever. But I think we need to practice it now, build that muscle so that when things get different, it will happen like unconscious competence.
Love it. How should folks connect with Bob Donnell? There's folks that are listening out there right now. They're hearing what you got to say. Some folks do webinars, some do podcasts. Some folks are looking for someone to coach or mentor. There are other folks out there like, whoa, I'm doing events again one day. How should they? It'll happen. It's going to happen again. It was going to happen again. How should they connect with you? What's your recommendation?
First is go to admin, or you send an email to admin@everythingnextlevel.com, admin@everythingnextlevel.com. And I will respond to you quickly within 24 hours. But shoot me an email. And here's what I want you to do, because I want to give you an opportunity. I want you to put in there the name of the show, Happy Entrepreneur. And if you put that, I will gift you a half-hour one-on-one where you can ask me anything you want. I'll give you laser-focused coaching. And if you want to just bypass that email, do this. Go to everythingnextlevel.com/appointments and pick a half-hour coaching call on there on me. And I'd love to just spend that half hour just exploring where you're at, where you want to be, and then look at ways for me to be that gap filler for you.
I mean, that's wonderful. When we come back, everyone, tell them one more time where to go, Bob.
everythingnextlevel.com/appointments, or shoot me an email at admin@everythingnextlevel.com.
I encourage every single one of you to do that. It's one of those conversations I told you at the very beginning of this. Bob will change your life if you let him. I don't say that about everyone. You guys know that. But Bob is one of those individuals that truly will change your life if you will let him. With that being said, Bob, we're going to take a less than 2-minute commercial. We're closing out. As soon as we come back, we're going to go right to your final thoughts. We're going to close this thing out. Everyone is out there right now. Hit the share button one more time. When you hit the share button, put everything next level, hashtag Bob Donnell. Pay this message forward. Bless someone else. Let's change some lives. Let's make a bigger difference in the world. You'll make $1. Don't worry about that. But you make a bigger difference first right now. We'll be back in less than 2 minutes. We're going to go over to Rob Howes. And Rob Howes says, be present where you are. How powerful is that? We'll be right back.
Like that.
Hey guys,
All right.
me and Daddy are here.
All right, I'm doing a video.
I got a
No,
question.
it's not a question. This is a video where I'm telling people something. I'm telling them that today is their January 1st. Today is your January 1st, Happy Entrepreneurs Tribe, because today is the only day you got. Because tomorrow's not promised and yesterday is gone. So the reason why today being your January 1st is significant because it keeps you from procrastination. Procrastination is the destroyer of dreams. Yeah, it's the destroyer. It's the killer of dreams. So take action. Be present where you're present. That's the real gift. Be present where you are present. That is the real gift. Today is your January 1st. Say today.
Today.
Say today is your January 1st.
Today is January 1st.
Say it loud.
Today is January 1st.
That's it. Don't forget it.
It's a great day. My name is Shay Brown, the Happy Entrepreneur, and welcome back to the Happy Entrepreneur Show, the #1 business development and revenue focused late night show in the country where we're on a mission to inspire, to empower, and to provide you with the resources necessary. And that's what Bob's been doing today, really, is to give you those resources so you can execute. You got to be a leader of one before you're a leader of many. So you now can go out there and do all the things you need to do. So we want to thank Bob for taking this time. One of the things we know about every single one of you watching, all you wonderful, happy entrepreneurs out there, is every one of you can go make more money. Bob can go make money. I can go make more money. But one thing none of us can do is make more time. So we all can make more money, but we can't make more time. And Bob has given us the most precious resource that he has that he can't get back, which is his time. So we want to say thank you to Bob for those folks that are out there watching. You can give him a digital applause. And how do you give a digital applause? You can look below the video and you can say, thank you, Bob. We appreciate you, Bob. Great job, Bob. If you don't want to type anything, just hit #1. When you hit #1, that means great job. That's just a bat signal. It's a bat signal to everybody watching. That was just #1. Great job. We appreciate you. So, Bob, I'm going to turn it over to you, man, to give your final thoughts, your comments to folks. These lights are going to go off. You and I won't be coming through these fiber optic lines anymore. And they've got to will that inner game inside of them to go execute what the mindset is telling them to do. And they got to make that happen. So what are your final thoughts? What are your final comments, my man?
Yeah, my final thoughts boil down to one of the courses I teach is connectology. And one of the pillars, there's 12 pillars of connectology, but one of the pillars is the quality of your connection with yourself or anyone else will be determined by the quality of questions you ask. Are you asking the right questions? What I find is most entrepreneurs aren't asking the right questions. Most people aren't asking the right questions. When you first meet somebody in networking, what do you ask them? What do you do? It's a lame question. It's a shallow question. It doesn't serve you. Learn to ask better questions, but you can only ask better questions if you know what the outcome is that you're looking for. So if I want, Shay, if I want you to say the number 4, I have to ask questions that equate to 4. Otherwise, you're going to answer. If I say what's 3 plus 2, you're going to say 5, and I'm going to get frustrated because you didn't answer the way I wanted you to. I wanted you to say 4. But it's on me to ask the right question. What I find is if we ask better questions, we get better answers. Only every time, as my friend Glenn Morshower says, only every time. And so, my final thoughts is really develop better questions. Questions of yourself, like not how should I do this, but why should I do this? And what if I do this? And what if I don't do this? And ask better questions, you'll get better answers every time. And I think that goes to asking ourselves better questions as well as asking the people that we meet or the people that we want to help along the way. One of the best things I can say we do for as entrepreneurs in serving other people is to learn to ask better questions that help us really uncover how we can better serve them.
I love it. With that being said, thanks a lot, Bob. Thank you all for watching. I want you to know that you've been watching the Happy Entrepreneur Show, and today is your January 1st. You can get your mindset right. Today is your January 1st. You can use that inner game to do all the things you promise yourself you're going to do. Today is your January 1st. You'll take more action than you ever thought you would, because I know that you have greatness inside you. I know that you're a winner. I know that you're a champion. I believe that the best is still yet to come for you. The best is yet to come. With that being said, my name, by the way, for those folks that are just tuning in and wonder who is doing all that talking, my name is Shay Brown, the Happy Entrepreneur. Make it a great day, everyone. And I promise you, we'll make some good things happen. We connect again next time. Remember, time is long, but life is short. Enjoy the moment and get the most out of it. I'll see you soon. God bless. Thanks a lot, Bob, man. You rock. You are a rock star, man. You're a rock star. Thanks a lot. Promise I made to my mom. I only did this message for one person, and that's my mom. This is for you, Mom. Love you. My name is Shay Brown, the Happy Entrepreneur. Make it a great day, everyone. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, Shay Brown.
Mic check, mic check.
All I do is win, no matter what. Got money on my mind, I can never get enough. And every time I step up in the building, everybody hands go up.
Yes. Yeah.
And they stay there, and they stay there, and they stay there. Cause all I do is win. If you're going in, put your hands.
Thank you. God bless.